Hey, it's Josh, aka Spieglass. I just wrapped up a song, and it presented me with an opportunity to show you a couple different ways that I use delay in compositions. So, this is not delay pedals, this isn't using guitar, this is strictly utilizing it as a plugin, and I always preach simplicity. So, if you have Reaper or a very basic delay plugin, you should be able to do this kind of stuff. So I use delay in a couple different ways for different effects, different reasons. So let's just kick into these. There's no other preamble to go through. So I have a standard percussion track. Well, I have a few drum tracks, but if I were to just do a standard percussion in my style, here it is as a dry signal, no delay. So pretty sparse, not particularly that interesting. I do have other drum tracks. You can see I have snare listed. These ones that say paths have percussion in it as well. But just taking this on its own, because this is the first thing I laid down, I immediately knew, well, I definitely need to add some delay to it. So if I were to open up the track, you'll see it's just this machine drum selection. There's no effects right here, though. It's because I actually opened it on a separate track. So if I unmute it now, you can see I have the dry signal pulled all the way down, and that's because the instrument itself is the dry signal, and all I wanted was the actual delay itself. So you can see it's just two delay repeats. A couple things to note. You can see I lowered the volume -4 because I didn't want it to be as present. And the other thing you'll see this changing, this is actually your panning. So you can see my second repeat is all the way right, my first repeat's all the way left. So if you have headphones on or listening on some good speakers, you'll hear the stereo effect of that. And because of this second repetition, I get these back-to-back hits. So it creates this cool effect where it's ping-ponging the delays. So with the delay in there, let's re-listen to this section here. Run through a couple more times here. Dry. So it definitely makes it more interesting. And so I could easily just put the effect on here, but it's just another way to control it and have it be separate. And so yeah, panning is a good technique, of course. The volume differential, those are just kind of standard ways, and it makes your drums stand out a little more. So let's hop to another way I use delay. In the first half of the song, I have these pizzicato strings here. So here's just what they sound like. So in the context of the song, the reason I play that is to fill in gaps between like the percussion and the count. So here it is all together. Those synths sound a little off kilter, it's because it's a loop, and so if you start it in the middle, it's kind of goofy. But you can kind of hear what's going on with the way it is bouncing in between stuff. So just a simple 1-2. So what I end up doing is a callback, where in the second half of the song, not only do I change the instrument and the pattern, but then I also add delay. And what I do it on is the Sonicature nickel harpa. So I have it on pizzicato. I have some delay here. You can see I have a 16th note delay. And this is the pattern. So instead of 1 2s, you can see it does like this 1 2 3, back again 1 2 3, and then it has delay. So if I take the delay out, it'll be like a similar idea. Just to fill in space between percussion. But again, it's not as interesting, and I don't want to have it be too similar. So I changed the instrument, I changed the pattern, but now I'll add delay to it as well. And now let's listen to it. So definitely makes it more interesting, more spacious, ambient. Fun thing to note on this pattern is the song's in 4/4, but it, with that 1 2 3, it sounds like I'm playing a 1 2 3, but it's actually times out the same way. So you can see I have a measure here, a measure here, a measure here, and a measure there. So, or I should say bar. So it's still 4/4, which if I draw up here, the difference is I'm playing 1 2 3 and then starting over. There's no rests. So if I were to type that out, it'd be 1 2 3, and then I start over, and then I just continue up. So I ended on 1 2 3 1 2. Ended on 2 3 1 2 3, and then now to finish off a set of 4, I just play a 1 2 3 4, which is what this section is. Here's your 1, there's your 2. I go to technically a 4th note and then down to a 3, but we're talking about the count here. So it is offset, but it still comes out to the same way. Oops, no, we don't need to save that. So another thing that I pair it with are these ensemble strings. I do the same thing. 1 2, accent on the 3. 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, and then 1 2 3 4. So I also do some layering. This does not have delay, so it's just a nice way to accent the notes of the nickel harpa, but then the delay of the nickel harpa comes into play. So if I just put those two together real quick. There's two different ways I use delay and why and how I implement them. Delay can be very useful for a lot of different things, but those are some basic ways that I spread them across multiple instruments to create different types of movement, different sounds, and then layering kind of helps show them off a little more as it takes up space and creates more movement. So I use it in a bunch of different ways on a bunch of my different songs, but since there's two different ones within one song, I thought I'd give you a showing on that. So look out for this song in the future. It's new, it's untitled, but it'll be out before you know it. Check out all my other videos. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and all that other good stuff. Thanks.